You talk too much. You tell everybody your plans. You post your goals, your dreams, your every move, like the world owes you something for just saying it. But let me tell you something. Nobody cares. You keep waiting for applause before you even start the race. You keep looking for validation when you haven't done the work. That's why you stay stuck. That's why you're losing. You gotta disappear. Cut the noise, cut the excuses, cut the dead weight. While they party, you work. While they scroll, you grind. While they sleep, you build. Because when you come back, when you come back, you'll be unrecognizable. And they won't have a choice but to respect you if you're tired of being overlooked. If you're done with being average, if you want to be great, listen to me. Lock in, tune out the world, and put in the work. Silence is power. Everybody wants to talk, but very few want to execute. Real bosses move in silence. Champions don't need to announce what they're about to do. They just do it. You keep telling people your next move, and they keep watching you fail. Let me tell you something. If you really want it, you got to get quiet. You got to lock in so hard that people forget about you. Let them think you fell off. Let them think you quit. Because when they see you again, they won't even recognize the monster you became. Grind in the dark, shine in the light. The work that really matters, it happens when nobody's watching. It happens at 5 a.m. when the world is sleeping. It happens in the gym when there's no crowd. It happens in the office when your name is still unknown. You don't rise to greatness in front of people. You rise in the trenches, in the struggle, in the sweat, in the sacrifices nobody sees. Stop waiting for the world to clap for you. Start grinding when nobody cares. Because one day, they won't have a choice but to see you. The world owes you nothing. You think because you've been struggling, you deserve success. You think because you tried once, the world should reward you. No. The world doesn't care. What matters is what you do about it. What matters is how you respond. Are you going to sit there and cry, or are you going to disappear and work? Are you going to complain, or are you going to become so good they have to respect you? Stop waiting for a handout. Stop waiting for someone to save you. No one is coming, so get to work. Master the art of isolation. You say you want to win, but you won't separate yourself from losers. You say you want to focus, but you're still distracted. You say you want to be the best, but you can't even be alone for 5 minutes without reaching for your phone. Greatness requires isolation. It requires shutting off the noise, shutting off the opinions, shutting off everything that doesn't push you forward. If you can't be alone, you'll never reach your highest level. Sometimes you gotta disappear, not forever, but long enough to rewire your mind, reprogram your grind, and reset your mission. Work until they can't ignore you. See, everybody wants the shine, but nobody wants the darkness. Nobody wants the lonely mornings, the quiet nights, the sacrifices that nobody sees. But that's exactly where greatness is built. That's where champions separate themselves. While the world is sleeping, they're grinding. While others are out partying, they're locked in. While the average person is making excuses, they're executing. You can't expect to shine in the spotlight if you haven't bled in the shadows. You can't expect to be celebrated for work you never did. That's why the ones who truly succeed don't waste time telling the world what they're up to. They don't seek approval. They don't need validation. They put their head down, they disappear into the process, and they work until they become undeniable. And when they finally step out, when they finally show the world what they've been building, it's too late for anyone to stop them, because by then the work is already done. The results are already there. And nobody can take away what they earned in the dark. You think just because you've been through hard times, the world owes you something? You think because you've struggled, success should come knocking at your door? Let me tell you something. Nobody cares. Nobody is coming to save you. The world doesn't reward pity. It rewards results. Too many people sit around waiting for an opportunity, waiting for a handout, waiting for someone to notice them. They waste time complaining about how unfair life is, how hard it is, how someone else has it easier. But let me ask you this. What are you doing about it? Are you grinding or are you whining? Are you executing or are you making excuses? Because at the end of the day, life will only give you what you earn. The ones who make it, they don't waste time looking for sympathy. They disappear. They shut out the noise. They put their heads down and work like their life depends on it. And guess what? It does. Because every day you waste complaining is a day someone else is outworking you. Every minute you spend feeling sorry for yourself is a minute someone else is using to build their empire. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you work for. You don't get rewarded for struggling. You get rewarded for overcoming. So stop expecting life to hand you something. Stop waiting for permission to be great. The world owes you nothing. But if you grind like you mean it, one day it won't be able to ignore you. You say you want to win, but you can't even separate yourself from the distractions. You say you want to be great, but you're still surrounded by people who don't believe in greatness. You say you're focused, but every little thing pulls you away from your grind. That's why you're stuck. That's why you're not seeing results. Because you refuse to isolate yourself long enough to build something real. You don't grow when you're constantly distracted. You don't evolve when you're always surrounded by people who don't push you. Sometimes you have to step away from the noise, away from the negativity, away from everything that's keeping you average. When you isolate yourself, you start to see things clearly. You start to hear your own voice instead of the doubts of others. You start to move with purpose instead of being pulled in 100 directions. That's when the real transformation happens. So if you're serious about leveling up, if you're really about this life, it's time to disappear.